Okay, welcome to a new project that Joyce Foley has organized and put together. And John Harlow, who is taping this, and Darla Pickett, who is hosting this, are just looking forward to all the good conversations we're going to have about Skowhegan in what we are calling Skowhegan Over the Decades, Remembering the Past. And we started out our inaugural people here. We have, to my left, Linda Chandler. It was Linda Scott Chandler, and she's lived in Skowhegan for 80 years. And Ed Burgess, oh, you might remember her. She's was the junior high secretary. Yes, for many years. So you people out there that know her. And Ed Burgess, who I always think of was the water company, right, Ed?
Yes.
And he's been in town for 82 years. So we're going to start looking for some of the really, really interesting things that have gone on in Skowhegan, and it was bustling at the time. And Linda brought with her also, we're going to probably take pictures of these later, but we want you to know that it's here and available. She's going to talk about some of it, and it's postcards from how long? How long have you been collecting?
Oh, since the late 70s, early 80s.
Late 70s. So we'll be having some of that for you interspersed with some of our comments. So let me start with, we were talking earlier and I really want to start, what does below the tracks mean?
Below the tracks is where the walking bridge is downtown.
Okay.
And the train, of course, came across the railroad tracks there, plus the walking bridge. I think the walking bridge was still there.
Yeah.
I think you could walk, and the tracks were also there. And went across the river and into where the parking lot is, which is where the depot was. So when I was a child, it was a big deal to go downtown with my mother, and in those days the ladies dressed up to go downtown in the afternoon. She wore a hat, gloves, nylon stockings, and she took the two of us, my sister Christine and me, and we went first of all to my grandfather's store, which was Witham's Market, which is where Sturch's was.
Across the river?
Yeah, it was actually, it was on the south side.
Right, just as the bridge ends now, correct?
Yeah, and you go that way to go to Norwich Walk.
Yeah.
And every time I drive over that, I know that I'm driving over my grandfather's store. And we'd have an ice cream. He would always give us an ice cream, and we would continue on downtown, and usually my mother would go into Jean's restaurant, and she'd have coffee with some of her friends.
And Jean's is where? So that we can...
Where Steve Likos has his art shop.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then it would be time for the train to come in. So she would walk us down to the tracks so that we could wave to the conductor. And I'm thinking that we were probably 4 and 5 years old at the time. So that was quite a big deal. We used to like that.
Wow.
A lot.
So you, I'm told, are a font of information when it comes to the railroad tracks and the downtown and all of that, where the trains...
Well, I don't know if I have an awful lot, but I can remember one thing that used to happen was when the World of Mirth came to town. That was for the fair.
World of Mirth?
Yes, that was
okay.
The name of the company that had the rides and the tents and everything. And they used to come in by train. And I can remember how I used to know, because my father was in the trucking business, and he always got the job of hauling. They looked like circus wagons, hard rubber tires, and they would unload them, which is now the parking lot here in Skowhegan. They'd unload those, and they'd haul those all to the fairgrounds. And that was a show in itself. The downtown would be just packed with people.
Yeah.
You did that? Do you remember it?
No, I don't remember that. Probably that was a little too rough for poor little me.
Well, probably the reason I remember is because my father was hauling them up, so I was
The-
probably 8, 9 years old at the time.
Now, where did they take them? Up to the
They
fairgrounds?
take them to the fairgrounds. Yep. And,
Okay.
And another thing that I remember about the railroad is, you know, young boys always want to do something different. when,
That's one way to put
when
it.
the train would come in and do what they had to do, but when they got ready to go back to Waterville, they had to turn around. And there was a turntable. And we always tried to make sure to be around to help them turn it around. So we'd push on it. And then after we get them all straightened out and he'd head for Waterville, he'd let us get onto the last car and he'd take us up to the top of the hill, and when he'd get up there he'd slow down to the whistle and we'd jump off.
Didn't take much to
Maybe I shouldn't say that because the railroad might get in trouble.
I think now it's probably a little late. I don't think they'll get in
No.
trouble.
I think they're out of business.
We did that a number of times. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can remember the train coming in, going across the bridge.
Did either of you ever go to Madison to the theater, to Lakewood, on that train?
No.
I
don't
that had
remember
to
it
be way,
being there.
way. No, that was way. Well, I don't think that was a train. That was the trolley.
Trolley.
Okay,
Right.
you're right. You're right.
There was a trolley
Yeah.
that used to go up there.
I think that was gone though by the time we
Yeah,
were.
I don't recall seeing the
Kids.
trolley. No.
Yeah. Yeah. And just because I wanted to get down into the downtown a little bit, because you seem to remember, I remember, gosh, I don't know why I'm saying you remember. You said down at the corner of Hathaway and Mitchell there was a shop for croquet and bowling.
I'm not sure where that was.
Oh, okay.
We when we were discussing it, we thought it might be there. It might have been there, but
Okay.
I'm not sure. It was Wendell Thompson that. Do you remember that?
Yes, my
Do you
mother.
remember?
My mother used to work there.
Okay.
Oh, no kidding.
Where was it then?
It would, you know, where Gifford's Dairy is.
Mm.
Okay, it would basically be right behind Gifford's Dairy. They had a sawmill there, Thompson Sawmill,
Okay.
and then they had another building that they made croquet sets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can remember my mother working there painting croquet sets.
Yeah. And that was where Hunt's Dairy was
Yes.
prior to Gifford's.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
But it
I've
would
got
have
a
been in
story
the
to tell.
back.
My husband worked for Hunt's Dairy
Was that?
when the bottles were still alive. We didn't
I-
have plastic
Yeah.
cards.
I can go
Well-
further than that.
So can I.
I can remember when Mr. Harris, that he lived up on up by the swinging bridge, at the top of the hill.
Phil Harris?
No,
No.
I don't remember his first name, but he owned the dairy before Hunt's bought it.
Oh.
And it was the Somerset or the Fairview Dairy.
I don't remember
I
the
think
name
it was
of
the
it.
Fairview Dairy. My father worked there.
I thought it was just Harris's dairy, but that's neither the case.
Well,
Doesn't make
I'm
much
not
difference.
sure just when that was. It was
But-
before me.
But when I was 9 years old, maybe, I had a cottage cheese route. He used to make cottage cheese
Yeah.
at the dairy, and every Saturday morning I'd go over with my cat, and I'd take 10, 12, and I had regular customers in that neighborhood that I would deliver the cottage cheese to.
For heaven's sakes.
But that's quite a while ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And one of the things I thought interested me the minute we were talking about it, Linda and I, earlier, the immigrants that started, we're talking, because today is so important about immigrants and they're talking about whether or not they should be here or not. And this was, you were listing the people that were immigrants who
Well-
started the businesses downtown.
Yes, there was Sam Russakoff, who had the jewelry store, which is still being run by his grandson,
Yeah.
Andy. And he was an immigrant from Russia, I believe. And then there was Peter Likos, who ran the Paradise Suites, and he was an immigrant from Greece. And Peter Dibby, who had the little store across the street from Paradise Suites. And he was an immigrant from Italy. And they used to, my friend Kathy Likos told me the story of Peter's immigration, her father's immigration. He was around 12 years old, and he came alone from Greece.
Mm.
And he landed Ellis Island, and she tells me that there was supposed to be a sponsor for him, but when he got there, there was nobody there to meet him. But a woman who was in line with a child in back of him said she would be his sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how he got up to Maine. I think he may have already had relatives here, because I do know that there were Likos in Bangor that had businesses, so he may have gone to them, but I don't know the rest of the story. But I thought that was quite interesting.
And where was Paradise Suites? Which side of the road?
Well, it's on the what they call the Flatiron now.
Whittemore's
Whittemore's
Real Estate, which was once I went there and had a soda fountain drink.
Yeah.
So that was where I went, just
Yes.
to Lico's.
Yes, that's right.
Huh. And where was DB's store?
Right across the street
Where
where
the
Empire Grill or Thai restaurant.
Thai restaurant, yeah. Yeah.
He actually had a whole block there, because where the store that they sell appliances
Right.
was his, because I remember he had a Army Navy store there.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And then it was Sears for a long time.
Yes.
I worked there when it was Sears.
So, oh yes, there was a Sears there.
Mhm.
So the Likos, who now owns the store downtown that's got all the artwork on the front, is the son of the person who owned Paradise Suites, where
Right.
real estate place is now.
Right,
Right.
that's right.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, the hat blocking business.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember
I
that?
don't
I
remember
can
that.
remember the Hatter.
Mm-hmm.
That was Mr. Likos, the
Yeah.
senior.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where was it located?
That was in with the soda fountain.
Oh, were we right
No!
in there, really?
No.
In the
For goodness
corner.
sakes.
No.
I don't even remember that.
I can remember him being the Hatter.
Now, when did Laverdia come along? Because he had this nice place down at where the bar is now.
That was a number of years
That was
after
a
that.
little later, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
quite a long time after that.
Yeah.
It was where the antique shop is now, in Lynette's.
Well, yeah, and before that was Laney's clothing store.
Right,
Men-
right,
Men's
right.
clothing.
Yes, it was.
How long was Stearns in town? Was he one of the first ones here?
Who?
Stearns? Oh, the older man.
He, as long as I could remember,
Yeah,
Stearns
me
was
too.
there.
Now, was he an immigrant?
I don't know that.
Do you know?
No, I don't
No.
know.
See, I go far enough back to remember when there was a McClellan's,
Mhm.
there was
Yes.
Laverdia's, where the bar is now. What's the name of the bar?
Bloomfield.
Yes, Bloomfield's. And there was a dress shop and a shoe shop, Garner's shoe store.
Yeah, I used to, yeah.
There were several dress shops.
Yes, there were. There was Cora Kaowitz, and there was the bonnet shop, and there was Crane's,
Bell
and
shop.
LaFawn's, and the Bell shop, and Stearns.
Yeah.
There were a lot of stores.
And Crane's, yes, I went to Crane's.
I loved Crane's.
Now, was the movie theater always there for you folks?
Yes.
Yes.
Or do you go back to when they used to go to the Opera House and show movies there?
Well, when I was growing up, they did both. I can remember going to the Opera House, particularly on Sundays. I don't know if they just had them on Sundays or not. Do you remember?
I can't remember.
No. But we always went to the Strand.
The Strand's been there for years.
Yeah.
Changed much over time?
No, it hasn't.
Well, it has. It's gone from one theater
Right,
to
that part.
4 now, or 3.
Three, I think.
Three.
3.
Yeah. What I like about it, though, is even though those changes inside, the outside, they did a marvelous
They did.
job.
Yeah, they didn't change outside.
They
no.
didn't change it. When they built the new part, they made it look just like it should look.
Do you remember your first movie you saw there?
No.
Do you?
No.
I do. Gone with the Wind.
Oh, really? Well, we know how old you are. 1939, that was.
I can't remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, that was probably long after that.
Well, that's when it came.
That's when it came out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I saw it much later then.
Yeah.
5 minutes later.
I don't remember.
I can remember we always had to go on Saturday because they had
Yes.
what they call the serials.
Yes.
It would be a movie that would end with something exciting happen, and you wouldn't know what's going to happen until you go the next Saturday.
Just like TV shows now.
Yeah, just similar to
really?
TV shows.
Really?
And they were just a short, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah,
And I
they
think
were.
they call them the serials.
The serials, right.
And so you'd see the start of it, so you'd want to go on Saturday to see
Oh,
what
way to
happened.
get you to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how has the downtown changed for you? What are some of the biggest changes you've seen? That's a really blanket question, but
I think the biggest change is when Holland Variety moved out of town. Moved over onto. Now you can find a parking space anywhere you want.
That's true. Yeah.
The unbelievable traffic that they brought into town.
They did. Still do, actually.
Yeah. That's probably there's bigger changes, physical changes, stores and things, but the biggest change that I've seen that makes downtown look like there's not much there is Holland's moving out.
see, they used to have the drugstore down there across from
Yeah.
the Eagles Club.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And that's empty now, although
Yes.
it's all fixed up.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if somebody would like to bring a business in there.
That's been empty a long time.
I think one of the biggest changes in Skowhegan is the traffic mode that they have now. Instead of two-way, it all used to be two-way traffic and
Yeah.
angle parking,
Yeah.
and now, of course, it's one way on Water Street, one way on Commercial Street, and parallel parking. So I think that's a big change.
Yeah.
Not only and of course the increase in traffic that we have now is quite a change from when I was growing up. Madison Avenue was two-way, just 2 lanes when I was growing up, with all those big beautiful houses, lovely trees.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Well, they had elm trees. They lost
Yes.
the elm tree.
Yeah.
That was why. No, that wasn't why it was elm.
No.
Well, Elm Street had lots of
Now
trees.
you're back when the high school wasn't where it is now. Of course. You
Oh, I went to the one that fell down.
Oh, did you?
So did I.
That's where I went to high school.
That's where you went to high school. Where did you go to?
I went to the junior high, which is on the island.
And so did I.
But where was the school before that? Wasn't it down on the Canaan Road? No.
What school? The high school?
I remember down on the Canaan Road knowing that was a school because they're trying to fix it up now.
Oh, the Dudley Corner.
Oh, Dudley Corner.
Dudley
But that's
Corner.
way before anything you know of, right?
That was in the time of the one-room schoolhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case when you started school, for
No.
sure. No.
Now, did you go to Mechanic Street School?
For kindergarten,
Yeah.
I did.
Now that's closed up now and they're not using it for anything. It was supposed to be a museum.
Yeah, I thought, is there some organization using it for a museum?
I don't know.
No.
Oh, okay.
And the same with the academy school, the original Bloomfield Academy. At one time, Joe Pinley, a teacher at the junior high, was involved with making that into a museum. But I don't know what's happening with it now.
Well, I think according to what one townsperson told me, they fixed it all up. I'm trying to remember his name. They fixed it all up and we're going to have it for a museum, and it just never got done. You know, it got finished, but it never got used for that.
I got a kind of little story about the Buchanan Street School. Not that I wasn't smart, but I went to school there probably 3 years.
Same grade?
Same grade. For the reason is, you know, when you're 5 years old, 6 years old, the school was only 2 or 3 houses from where I lived. So we was there every day, so the teacher would, rather than send us home, she'd let us come in. There was 3, 4 of us living. One little girl lived right beside the school. So
Yeah.
when the door would open, we'd all be standing there. We knew school was starting. So we actually went there a number of years
Before you were really old enough to.
before we was old enough.
Really? What do they call that now?
Preschool.
Preschool, yeah.
Weren't you?
And I can't, I was sat there the other night thinking, who was a teacher at kindergarten?
I had Mildred Smith,
No, that's not the name that I had.
but you're older than I am, so you probably was a different teacher then.
Yeah,
And then I went to the academy school for 1st and 2nd grade.
I can remember the teachers over there. Mrs. Stenhouse.
Yes, yes, I remember her.
She was noted for her.
Not too fondly.
No, because she was noted for the ruler.
Well,
Yeah, we had one of those too.
And I
Right,
can't try to think who I almost think it was Mrs. Tilton, Fern Tilton,
yes, it was.
wasn't it?
It was, yes. I was trying to think of that.
Yeah, it was Fern Tilton in the 3rd and Mrs. Stenhouse was in the 4th.
No,
2nd
it was first
Oh,
and
first and
second.
second, first and
and
second.
second grade then.
Right, 1st and 2nd.
So what were your hours back then in school? Did you still go from like 7 to...
I have no idea.
I don't remember.
You don't remember when you got out of
No,
school?
I don't remember.
No.
Hmm.
Probably around 3 o'clock.
But I'll tell you one thing what we did. We walked to school every day.
Well, that's because you want to live next door, right?
Well, no, even in high school.
Yeah, we had to walk to high school.
Yeah.
I lived on Maple Street
Yeah.
when I was in high school, and we had to walk.
I walked that hill every day.
That's probably why you're so strong now.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not as strong as I was.
What did you folks play back then? Probably the same thing I did.
What do you mean? Play
As far
for
as games and...
Well, the most famous game was kick the can.
Kick the can. Hide and go seek. Red Rover.
Yeah.
I think the kick the can was the number
It
one.
was. We had a group of kids. We called them the Maple Street Gang and the Middle Street Gang.
Yeah.
And there were enough kids so that every night, just about every night, after supper, we would go down to Middle Street, and we'd have a game of kick the can.
Kick the can, yeah.
And my father always said, "You listen for my whistle, and that's time to come home." And my father could whistle so that we heard it from Maple Street to Middle Street. Up, Daddy's whistling. Home we go.
What was your mother and father's name?
Charlie and Lucretia Scott.
Lucretia. And yours?
What's that?
Your parents' names?
My father was Edward or Ed, and my mother was Mary.
Mary. Name sounds familiar. Did she teach or something?
No.
No.
She worked in shoe shops most of her life.
Were the shoe shops still here? What did we have
Well, she worked for a moccasin, Medwood footwear.
Yes.
Skowhegan.
And they was it Skowhegan?
Skowhegan we used to call it.
Yeah, but
I think Medwood.
I think it was a
Medwood
Medwood shoe
yeah,
is what they called it.
right.
I think my mother worked there at that time.
My mother worked there for years.
Now you also, I know someone who worked at Skowhegan Hotel. I don't know how many people know there was a hotel here. In fact, there were 2, correct?
A number of hotels.
Number of hotels. There was the Oxford, which
Yeah.
was up over what was Haynes Drugstore, in the area where the Bell Shop used to be. And
That was the
be-
Oxford.
That was the Oxford. It
Upstairs.
was upstairs.
Upstairs.
And then there was the,
Then there was the one on Russell Street,
yeah, that was the Skowhegan house.
Skowhegan House. And then there was one almost across that sat on the riverbank across from Skowhegan Savings and I think it burnt down. And then, you know, where the Skowhegan Savings, well, I don't know what you call that building, where they do the bookkeeping.
Right,
on the
used to be
corner.
Knowles and
Knowles
Dressel.
and Dressel.
Yeah, where Knowles and
Yeah.
Dressels was.
That was the Coburn.
There was the big Coburn Hotel, and underneath had restaurants. There was a shoe shop, a shoe repair, red and white groceries rings my. I was thinking about.
I don't remember that too well. I do remember.
Well, I'm older than you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So you've been to eat, of course you've both been to Jean's restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
And 3G's used
I,
to be
I
at
worked
East.
for in 3G.
No kidding.
In jeans. But I got caught eating. Me and another guy. We could have anything we wanted to eat, but you couldn't touch the lobster. Well, he'd gone someplace, and that lobster looked good. And he caught us in the lobster.
Before that, it was Sawyer's. Before
Oh
the
yeah,
3Gs.
well, I'm talking about jeans on the left.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Jean's restaurant,
Jean's
not
restaurant.
the
The
3Gs.
3Gs.
Okay. They were both Jean Tarbox. Had both of
Jean
those.
Tarbox opened that as originally.
Right.
Because what was in there before that was a restaurant, can you remember?
That was what?
What was in there before the restaurant opened up there?
What, Jean's?
No.
Or the 3Gs?
3Gs. Oh no, we're taking too much time. I'll tell you.
I don't remember.
There was a grocery store,
Oh.
red and white. Stanley Castle used to run it. Remember Stan Castle?
Vaguely, yeah. He lived on East Maple Street.
He lived on East Maple Street.
Right. I do vaguely remember
And
that.
it was almost, I think they called it the red and white, the one that they tore down. There was, because I can remember you could go from either street, either from Russell Street or Commercial Street or
Yeah.
Water Street.
Yeah.
That was a grocery store.
Now, the place, my mother and father used to go down there and dance, and it's gotten a reputation and not a reputation sometimes. The place beside the movie theater, that was always there.
Oh, the Melbourne Hotel.
Milburn Hotel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was another hotel.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right.
Who stayed there? Do you remember?
Who stayed there?
Who were there? Did they come in on the train, or am I mixing decades here?
Well, yeah.
I would assume that had something to do with the train because
It was there.
that's where the train station was.
Right.
Yeah.
And in some of these postcards, you'll see the Milburn Hotel in the background
Yeah.
of the train station.
Yeah.
But you never went in or knew about it or went dancing there or any of that?
Oh yes.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, when we got old enough. My aunt
Might
used
even
to.
might even tip one. No.
my aunt used to waitress there. Marion Kelly.
Yeah, I can
Oh,
remember
really?
Marion,
Yeah.
Really? They had bands every weekend.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
it was
did.
really fancy and plush back then.
It was quite nice. Yeah.
And the jail, you showed me a picture of the jail, and there was a house beside it.
Yes. There was a house beside it. They tore that house down to build the addition onto the jail.
Now
Yeah.
that's
Or
where
it
the,
may have been.
Well, is
it may
that-
have been down. Been
Isn't
torn
that the
down
house
before
that
that.
Marion used to live in?
No, she lived in the next one down.
Oh, well, they've torn two down.
They tore two
Yeah,
down.
oh, okay.
As a matter of fact, yes, she did.
now that is where the knit shop is now.
Yes.
The knit shop and the pickup cafe
Yes.
and all
Oh,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
the grist mill.
Grist mill,
Yeah.
yeah, I should mention
That's
the grist
right.
mill. Now, was it the courthouse has been there forever?
Oh, a long, long time.
Yeah.
But not the new one, just the
No,
big Somerset.
Just the one on the east corner.
Yeah. Now, I remember Alton Whittemore, or maybe it was his brother, telling me about his father had an eatery down between where the Eagles Club and the post office is.
Right there,
Yes.
right there where that little parking lot is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of an eatery
Well,
was
no,
that?
that one came later. Remember
Yeah.
Chuck's?
Chuck, he had it was.
He had that little
just
hole in the
A
wall.
hole in the wall where you had just a counter and a row of seats.
That's right.
That's what they call it, Chuck's Diner.
Chuck's Diner, I think.
Chuck's
yeah.
Diner. From the
And then they built the big one.
yeah,
which is
and
down-
one of the boys run it. What was his name?
It was Carlton, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Carlton.
Was it?
Carlton had a restaurant, and then There was another restaurant right beside it.
Oh,
There was two there.
that was before my time, I think.
And what was his name? Can't tell you.
Another brother?
I think they were brothers.
Were
I-
you drafted?
Kendall?
No, I enlisted.
Pardon me?
No, I wasn't.
You enlisted? No, did you go out on the train?
Yes,
You did.
out of Waterville.
Out of Waterville, really?
That's where my father was in the service in World War II, and it's where we used to take him to the train in Waterville.
I wonder why.
Well, the reason we did, the train didn't come back this way anymore.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Um,
The passenger
Father was
train,
going back.
freight came in, but no passenger train.
oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, that would have been true. I
Now,
don't know the reason why my father was arriving and departing from Waterville, but he did.
now, do you remember when they announced the end of the war over the Wallaces?
No, I don't.
I can't remember that, but I can remember when they announced it, and I'm trying to think how old was it? What year was that?
45.
45. See, I was 11 years old, and I can remember dragging tin cans behind my bicycle.
No.
I don't understand why. The only thing that I associate with the war, I have a feeling I blocked out a lot of things. And of course I was only, let's see, 37, I was only 4 when it started. So, in those days, you didn't have it in your living room all the time. The adults had the newspaper, and they read it in the newspaper. At 4 years old, you're not reading the newspaper. So the thing that I remember about the war is that my father was gone. And he didn't go until 1944 because he had a heart murmur and 3 dependents, and so they left him till the very end. And then they needed a post office worker, and he was a post office worker, so that's where he went. He went to Boston and worked in the Fleet Post Office, and then he went out to Chelsea Naval Hospital and worked there in the post office. So that's my memory of World War II.
Now, one
He was gone.
of the talking points that we have here is what they sold, where they sold automobiles in town. And do you remember Bucher Motor Sales?
No, I
No.
was looking at that. I don't have any idea.
Friends, Heights.
Friends
Yeah.
and Heights,
Yeah,
yes.
but I noticed on Height Chevrolet, you've got to realize, Height was the first Ford dealer.
I remember that. I remember writing histories about that.
Yeah, Height had the Ford dealer before.
See, I remember when Boys was right there where Heights is. There was a filling station there.
Where
in the
Heights
corner.
is? No, that is where Boyd's was.
No,
Oh,
that's
wasn't?
right. No, he wasn't. It was
Boyd's was
Williams.
up on East Front Street, right there where the little restaurant is now, the pizza place.
Yes.
East Front. Oh, okay, yes, Al's.
No,
that's
not
Waterville
No,
Road.
further up the
Further
street,
up.
House of
Angelo's.
Pizza.
Angelo's is
Angelo's House of Pizza.
Okay, okay.
Because I remember that vaguely, because
Mhm.
when I was a kid, old Sam was a nice, we liked Sam. If we had something that broke on our bike, we'd go in, Sam would fix it for us. But when we got older, he had an old, I think it was an old Buick, wood spoke wheels on it, and he had a makeshift plow that he'd plow it. Well, as you know, young kids, when you get to be 12, 13 years old, there was 4 or 5 of us in the neighborhood. Well, Sam would come, you get a snowstorm, Sam would come to work in the morning, his yard would always be plowed, because we'd go up there, we'd plow all night around his yard. Yeah, went around and round up this dooryard with that old, I remember that old Buick.
Fogarty's I'm thinking of. Fogarty's was
Fogarty
where
was
Heights
on the
is.
corner of Madison Avenue, yes.
Yeah. And Chapman's was down on the other corner where Heights is now.
Yeah,
correct?
Chapman's
Right.
wasn't
High
really a
Street.
filling station. That was they made tires. There was a
That's right. Chapman Tire.
Chapman Tires, what it was. They recap tires and sold tires, if I remember right.
Yeah.
My father used to work at Heights for a time when not my father, my grandfather, Scott, used to work for Heights. When my father was growing up, I don't know how old he was, but it was when motor cars first came out, and they used to ship them in a box, and they would have to put the motor cars together. And so when they get some in, if they got it, if it was a Friday and they got it all put together, he could take it home and use it for the weekend. And that was a big, big deal for my father and the rest of his siblings. And I remember him telling that story. I can just imagine.
Coben Garage, where was that?
I was trying to figure that out myself.
There used to be a garage
Mass
down,
Ave.
but I don't remember what the name was. It's down where they built the building for with a swimming pool in it on the riverbank.
Oh, Samson's, near
Yeah,
Samson's.
the Sampson building.
Yeah.
Used to be a garage in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was a Coben garage or
I
not,
don't
because I remember
that.
back in the days when the town had 3 school buses.
Yeah.
Instead of 15, you mean?
That's where they used to keep them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my father always drove school bus. And that's where they, I can't remember whether that was a Coben garage or not, but it sounds reasonable. That was a building there that the town, I don't know whether the town owned the building.
Never figured that one out. It never was quite clear.
Yeah.
I know there was a swimming pool there. It was supposed to become a recreation center and just never
Yeah,
did.
Richard Sampson
Right.
built that.
Yeah.
And,
Yes, he did.
put it in.
Was he one of the big town figures at the time? Was he a
He
selectman?
had the grocery store,
That's right.
Samson's Grocery, where the Independent Reporter was there afterwards. Isn't that right?
Right.
Yeah,
Then they moved over and he built a shopping center on the south side
right.
and had his Sampson's supermarket.
But you
over
don't
there.
remember why it never took off or why it never became?
No, I don't remember
Yeah, some political
I was just
wrangling
gonna say.
went on.
Yeah,
politics.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where were all the grocery stores at the time?
Oh,
I know Sturgis Market was across the river.
Sturge.
Sturge, and before that it was Hills,
Yeah,
and before that it was my grandfather
yeah.
Whitcomb's.
And that's as far back as I can remember.
And then there was a grocery store, Charlie Corriveau,
Oh,
where the bar is,
where the bar is.
diagonally across from where my grandfather's store was. On
Where-
the
where-
corner of Main Street and East Front Street.
Then you had the little one, Jones's Market, up the street.
Up the street, up East Front Street, yeah, George Jones,
There were 2 brothers, Eddie and George.
yeah. And those were the days when they used to deliver your
Yeah.
groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, really? Deliver your groceries?
Yeah.
Delivered
yeah.
your milk? I remember that.
Delivered your milk,
Yeah.
delivered your groceries. Leonard Pooler had a store
Yep.
where Bradley's dance studio is.
Yeah.
And then there was, LaBelle's had a store just up the next street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was
Arthur LaBelle.
that's where. The one for up the street. What's the name of the restaurant that? Next one up the street.
Oh,
The restaurant?
Dick's
Oh.
Market? Are you thinking? Dick's
No,
Market?
no.
Oh.
Before that, the restaurant now, you mean?
No. Trying to think who owns it now.
Not Alice's.
No. It'll come to me later.
Then there was Danny Roderick's.
Well, that's the original. That was Danny Roderick's.
Yeah,
And then that was bought out by George Cannell.
George Cannell, right.
Well, George Cannell came to town. His first store was right there on the.
That's right.
course-
On the corner of East Maple Street.
Yes,
Yes,
because I
yes,
lived
yes.
on East Maple
That's
Street.
right.
And that's where the first pizza, I can remember, never heard of a pizza until George Cannell come to town. And he started the pizza rave in Skowhegan, George did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I would say that he's the first one that I can remember having pizzas.
Now, where'd he come from? Do you remember? He wasn't an immigrant, was he? No.
Massachusetts, Boston
Massachusetts,
area.
I think.
Boston
Yeah.
area, somewhere.
Yeah.
His wife, Elaine, went down
Elaine-
there for nurses training, and I think that's
Yeah,
where she met him.
she was from Skowhegan.
Yes.
Elaine was from Skowhegan.
Yeah.
She
Elaine
was
Blaisdell.
she was a Blaisdell. Yeah.
For heaven's sakes. So I knew Fogarty's was what I was trying to think of at the
Yeah,
time.
Fogarty's
Was
on.
Federal Bank always there? What was where?
Oh no, Federal. I think Federal was the first bank, but there was nothing there. That's when they tore the old hotel down.
Right.
And I think it was Federal, and since Federal, it's been a number of
Several
banks.
others.
Yeah, now it's Somerset Heart Health.
Yeah.
Right.
now
Was the
it's-
Chamber Building always there after the railroad went?
I don't remember when that was built.
I don't remember when they built that.
How about where, the place that just closed? I thought I remembered the Quinns having a, right in front of the movie theater. Didn't the Quinns have a hardware store there at one
No,
point?
they was
They were-
over on Madison Avenue.
Where Blunt's used to
Oh
be.
wait,
Blunt's out there.
Quinn's was on. They had a portion. Let me think. I think it was where Holland's drugstore is,
Really?
and they bought and built that new building over on
Yeah,
Madison Avenue,
yeah.
and then they built another new one out there where they are now.
Well, what was the people who owned the key? They made keys, and you could buy wedding presents on one side. And
Oh,
hardware-
Cross.
Cross.
Hardware.
Oh, Cross
Cross.
Hardware.
Yeah, it was on Water Street.
That's on Water Street.
What is it now?
It's a group shop, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they sell
Oh,
stuff
is that
on.
where
They
the?
have vendors.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
group shop.
Yeah,
Crafts, I think.
yeah, crafts. And,
Art, so forth.
So did you shop downtown? Did you? You didn't go out of town, did you?
No, not much. I mean, it was a big treat to go to Waterville.
You'd go downtown with your folks. The main thing was to find a good parking spot on Water Street,
Yes.
Yeah.
And
you
you'd sit there
and you sit there.
Yeah.
and sit there Friday night. My
Right.
mother worked in the bell shop for a while, and about 7 o'clock, my father would put us all in the car, and we'd go down, park on the street.
You might have to go around a dozen times.
You might have to talk to everybody that went by,
Yeah.
and he'd usually get us an ice cream to keep us quieter.
Yeah.
And
Where did you get your ice cream?
oh, I don't
I
remember.
don't remember. Okay.
Maybe we got it on the way down somewhere, or maybe we might have got
I
ice
can't.
cream from
Yeah,
Lico's or
Lico's, not Lico's, Sawyer's
Sawyer's.
candy store,
Yes,
Which was where?
3G's.
where 3G's,
G's.
And
is, okay.
Karen's Closet.
Sawyer's candy
Yeah.
store was there before
Yeah.
3G's.
I had a cousin who worked in that candy store. One of the Kinneys, Geraldine Kinney. And they used to have the melted chocolate in drawers, and she was like sitting at a desk. We could go and watch her in the window. And she'd pull out and she'd dip the things in. I mean, it was really fascinating to
How
watch
did
her
she keep it
do
hot? Do you know?
I have no idea. I don't know. I was a child. I didn't care about how things worked
Yeah.
very
yeah.
much. I just thought it was interesting to watch her doing it.
Yeah, yeah. So it was popular back then. I mean, they made enough money, I guess, to
Oh yeah,
stay in business.
yeah. That was another after-school haunt
Yeah,
for the teenagers.
for the teenagers, until he'd throw everybody out.
That's right. Oh,
But they got rowdy and round
we
them all
weren't
out.
that bad. We weren't that
Did you
bad.
go to Wallace's for records?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
and
Well, I can
Smith's
remember,
music store for sheet music.
but I can remember going up to Wallace's and standing there watching a test pattern, thinking, "Oh, wouldn't I like to have TV?" No TV. There was no TV yet,
Really?
but he had TVs, and the only thing you could get on it was the test pattern out of Bangor.
Yeah.
And boy, that was really something to watch back
Yeah.
in those days.
So you didn't know much what was going on in the news.
No,
They did
just
it by
whatever you got in the paper.
Radio?
Yeah.
Did you have
Radio. Oh
You-
yes.
Oh yeah, you always had the radio because who was the one that everybody listened to?
Well, Dagwood and Blondie.
No, but I'm talking for news.
Oh, for news. I didn't listen to news.
Walter Winchell.
Oh, yes.
Walter Winchell.
Yeah.
No, I didn't really listen to news, but we had our favorite
My
programs.
folks always had to have Walter Winchell.
The Inner Sanctum,
Yeah.
Dagwood and Blondie.
Oh,
Little
I,
Orphan Annie.
I didn't listen to too much of that.
Yeah.
Now the park was always there,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, the park was always there.
And the church there, the Baptist church that was there on the other corner downtown, it's gone now.
Yes, where the
Pleasant
parking
Street.
lot is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Blunt Hardware was just down from the church.
Yes.
okay.
And then Knowles and Dressel was on the
What
corner.
was where Carpenter's is now?
Well, the music store was in there for a while. Smith's Music Store.
I thought Smith's was on the other side of the street.
Well, it may have been at one time.
Okay.
I can remember it being there.
I don't want to argue with you.
Who was the woman that used to write for the paper?
Betty Withy?
No.
Oh, no.
Before that,
Ooh,
Edna.
yeah, well,
Oh, Edna. Yes.
I know too.
Didn't one of the papers have an office over there, on that where Carpenter's was in there somewhere for a while?
The Sentinel did.
I think we're one down from that.
Yeah.
There's something in, there's Carpenter's and there's two buildings and there's
Yeah.
Right.
one building. And Stearns was always there.
Yes.
Yes.
Long as I can remember.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as I can
The
remember.
building's always been
Ruby
there.
Dyer.
Ruby Dyer.
Ruby
Ruby
Dyer.
Dyer.
Yeah.
That was the lady that worked for the paper.
Yeah.
And Edna somebody, Edna Ferber?
No, that's the author.
That's the author.
I
Edna,
know who you mean though.
can't think of it.
No.
Can't think of it.
And Stearns, everybody shopped there in Cranes. If you didn't
Mm.
have that, if they didn't
Right.
have it, you didn't need it.
That's right. and men's stores, there was the Cut Price, where you could get men's
Yes.
sport clothing, and Ray Laney's.
Long as I remember. Who run Cut Price?
Joe,
Well, no, Joe worked.
Laney.
Joe worked for Adolph Floyd. Man.
that's right.
He-
But
he-
then he took it over
Adolph.
after a while.
Yes.
Joe did.
Yeah. When Adolph retired,
Right.
yeah, Adolph was there for seemed like 100 years.
And where was this? I know the name, Adolph Fluid.
Oh, it was down
almost think it's
below
where
the tracks.
almost where the insurance company is down there, isn't it?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
In the same
Yes.
building.
That's right. It used to be the Travel Bureau
Yeah.
for a while. There was Huff's,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is where the Red Roof Relics is.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
Huff's studio.
I forgot all about Lyndon Huff because he
Yeah.
was around when I came to town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And the laundry was right across the river from there too.
Yes.
yes, it was.
That was John Uni's
John
father.
Mooney's father.
Right.
And that wasn't the only one because I noticed she's got Somerset Dry Cleaners here.
Palmer's. Palmer's had the laundry for
That was the one that
that Uni bought.
that Uni bought.
Mhm,
Palmer's.
okay.
Skowhegan Dry Cleaners was downtown.
Yeah, okay. And there was a dress shop down there next to the movie theater at one point.
Where the barber shop is now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I don't remember the name of it.
The bonnet
Lee-
shop.
No,
That-
that was Lydia
no, that-
something or other.
Was that the bonnet shop?
No, the bonnet shop was on Water Street.
Yes, but she moved from Water Street.
She did.
Oh, who was the dentist's wife that ran a dress shop for a while?
Was he a dentist?
I think he was a dentist.
And then there was a jewelry store on the corner where the dog place is now.
Was her-
Yeah, Gagnon's.
Yeah.
I'll tell you her name in a minute.
It's awful when you can't think of these names.
So do
I'll have to think on that. My
you
computer
know
in my brain is slow.
why the laundry didn't make it? I mean, they used to deliver laundry too. I mean, deliver your dry cleaning, I should say.
Oh, the dry cleaners?
Yeah.
I think it's just a case that Jean and Claire become the age that they couldn't handle it anymore. They just closed up.
Yeah.
And of course, it got so that there weren't, not everything needed to be dry
Yeah,
cleaned. You know,
that'd be long.
the modern fabrics
Yeah.
that you could wash and put in your dryer and so forth.
Now,
and so
did you
on.
use the Coburn Park much as children? Was that a haunt or did
No,
No.
it was too far off from where I lived when I was a kid.
We used to go down there during the day for picnics, but we were warned not to go there at night.
I know, no, even now, you shouldn't go there at night.
Probably not.
No.
Not alone
no,
anyway.
not alone. I know this isn't part of necessarily the program that Joyce had intended, but I'd like to, we're drawing near a close, I'm thinking here. I'd kind of like to know your ideas on what it used to be like to grow up like that without a TV, without the phone, without all of that, as compared to now.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Is that only in hindsight?
No, I liked it while I was living it. We always had something to do.
Yeah.
You could go sliding in the winter. You could go skating. There were 2 or 3 places in
You could always
town where you
find
could
something
skate.
to do.
And you were talking about, and in the summertime there was always somebody to give you a ride to the lake, and you could go swimming. And my
Best way to get
grandparents
to the
had
lake
camps.
was like this.
My grandparents had camps, so we were out there quite a lot anyway. And I liked growing up in Skowhegan. It was a very bustling town. Anything you needed to buy, you could buy. And
Yeah.
as she said, if you couldn't buy it, you didn't need it. And so I thought it was really fortunate to have been brought up in a town like Skowhegan.
Yeah, Skowhegan was a good town to grow up in.
Of course, my children couldn't wait to get out, but I noticed that they're still living in Maine after being overseas for many years, 2 of them. But I feel fortunate to have been brought up in Skowhegan.
Yeah, but I think the thing is now that things have changed so much. Some of the time we grew up.
Oh, yes.
Because kids today don't go out and play kick the can.
No.
They don't go out.
They've got to have they've got to be able to
Period.
text to the neighbor on
I know,
Yeah.
I know. And nobody talks. Oh, we used to have so much fun with
Yeah.
those games.
Hmm.
And
Over the decades,
Oh,
over the decades, how
time has
things have
changed.
things do
How
change.
things have changed. We really, really appreciate you taking time out of your busy, busy day.
Well,
Oh yeah, I
It
was
was
busy.
fun.
I was out in the garage.
I saw you watering flowers when I came down here.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I have left out that is this our first ever Skowhegan over the decades? I think it's been a real success, and you are our first team.
oh,
Really, really enjoyed it. And thanks to Joyce Foley for coming up with this idea. She scrambled really hard to put it all together. And thank you, John Harlow, she is the station manager, by the way, at SCTV 11, Somerset Community Television. We're on Channel 11, and I'm hoping that everybody's watching this, and we'll tell you the next time. Oh, we don't know exactly when we're meeting again, but we'll come back into your homes again with some more. Thank you very much. Bye now.